What's going on, guys, and welcome to Highly and Alph Gaming. I'm your host, Alph, and as a small Nintendo YouTuber, I'm legally obligated to make a video about how great the Wii U was. All the other kids were doing it, and now it's my turn. All jokes aside, though, I really did love the Wii U, and still do to this day. I can't go into details in the intro, though, because that's what the video is for. Let's find out why I loved the Wii U. Let's start with the first reason I loved the Wii U. It was the Wii U. The console itself was a console, but the gamepad was really something. I feel like this is a bit controversial for some reason, but I view the Wii U gamepad as one of, if not the best game controllers ever. It's huge, with wide buttons and joysticks and big fat triggers on the back. It feels great to use, and that's not even to mention the thing that makes it the gamepad. That little screen was probably what ultimately led to the Wii U's failure, but it was really great. Item management or map use in games like Wind Waker was so intuitive and convenient, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Where the gamepad really shined most for me was with Nintendo Land, but we'll get to that later. All in all, I love everything about the Wii U gamepad, and it really gave the Wii U its own unique identity. Beyond the hardware itself, I really liked the menus and features of the Wii U. Okay, maybe not so much the menus, but you could do so many cool things on the Wii U that you just can't on the Switch. You could sort games into folders to find them easier, which was a really nice touch. There was also an entire Wii hanging out in the Wii U, and you can play every Wii game through the Wii menu. You could also look at a detailed, day-by-day analysis of which games you played and for how long, which I always miss on the Switch. On top of that, the Wii U had Netflix, Hulu, and all those other apps that people actually like using, but that's not even the best part. The Wii U was the last Nintendo system to have a virtual console, which is truly sad indeed. Being able to buy ROMs of all your favorite old Nintendo games was an incredible feature, especially compared to the garbage Nintendo's giving us now. I'm thinking of making a whole video on how terrible Nintendo's online and retro game policies are right now, but let's not go there today. We're talking about the Wii U, and it had a pretty bangin' library of classic games available for purchase. Controllers, services, and some other third thing aren't all the Wii U had going for it, and if you look at the runtime of this video, I'm just getting started. The single biggest reason I love the Wii U is because of the library of games it had. Maybe there weren't as many smash hits as some other Nintendo consoles, but the Wii U still had some fantastic software. And now I'm gonna awkwardly transition into going through all my favorite Wii U games one by one. First, the Wii U game I probably put the most time into, Splatoon. Splatoon is such a unique and incredible game for so many reasons, and I've talked about its sequel in several videos. It's the first major new Nintendo franchise to start since Pikmin. It was probably the most interesting new idea to come out of the Wii U, and it had a really fun and original gameplay style. Multiplayer shooters as a genre have been done to death by now, but Splatoon really shook things up with its ink mechanic. Shooting paint to cover the map and kill opponents is such a genius and complicated concept that I'm having a hard time doing it justice here. In Turf Wars, the goal is to cover the ground with as much ink as possible, and you can also use that same ink to splat enemies. Swimming through your team's ink is an incredibly effective way to get around, so even in other modes, getting ink on the ground in strategic areas is a main goal. Again, I'm not smart enough to explain this principle fully, but you get the idea. Splatoon was a fantastic game with an amazing concept, and that's that. Nintendo really improved and built on the idea with Splatoon 2, but at the time, Splatoon was one really solid reason to own a Wii U. Another major game, Pikmin 3. I think it's pretty clear that I love Pikmin 3 to death, and the Wii U is where that game got started. Pikmin 3 was also my first and favorite Pikmin game, so the Wii U will always hold a special place in my heart for that. I already have a full review, Let's Play series, and potential future video about Pikmin 3 though, so I can't really say all that much more about it. Pikmin 3 is a fantastic game, and now it's on the Switch. The deluxe version has enough new content to make it the definitive way to play for me, but the Wii U version is still like Pikmin 3, which reminds me, go buy Pikmin 3 Deluxe, right now, stop not buying it. The game needs to sell well if we're ever getting Pikmin 4, so go buy it. Super Mario Maker was by far the most relevant Wii U game. The world has been absolutely in love with Mr. Jumpman for decades, and on the Wii U we finally got to try our hand at making our own levels for the guy. Early on in my channel I loved to talk about Super Mario Maker all the time, but it's really been a while since I've brought it up. I used to love making levels, but I was never very good, so I haven't made one in a while. Every once in a while though, I still love playing other people's levels, some of which are surprisingly good. Like every other game I've mentioned so far, there's an objectively better way to play it on the Switch, but I can't hold that against the Wii U. The Wii U had the first Mario Maker experience, and the gamepad made it super comfortable to make your own levels in it. Again though, every fantastic game I've brought up so far is no longer exclusive to the Wii U, so now let's get into the reasons I still have and use my Wii U. This may surprise you, but I actually think Star Fox Zero is a really terrible game. Okay, no, that game sucks, but I've always sort of been a fan of the game that got packed in with it, Star Fox Guard. I really don't want to talk about this game all that much since I think it's just okay, but I've been wanting to say something about Star Fox Guard since before I had a YouTube channel. It's basically FNAF but not scary and the cameras have guns on them, but it's surprisingly fun, if only for a little while. But good gosh, that's not a reason the Wii U is good, what am I saying? Wind Waker HD is the reason my Wii U is still plugged in. It's obviously just a remake of a GameCube game, but from what I've heard, HD is the only way to play Wind Waker. The new graphics look gorgeous, the new additions like the Swift Sail are awesome, and the real-time map use and item switching provided by the gamepad is fantastic. On top of all that, Wind Waker is just one of my favorite games of all time. Wind Waker HD means so much to me, and the Wii U is my only place to play it. Join Red Quan and I and start using the hashtag WindWakerH3 because this game needs a Switch port. It's fantastic, and it's the last major Wii U game to need a port. The video's not over yet though, since I still have one more game to talk about. Every game I've talked about in this video so far is enough to make the Wii U one of, if not my favorite Nintendo console ever, and there were some great games I didn't even mention. It's probably just because the Wii U was the console that really got me into gaming, but either way, I still think there was some incredible stuff to play here. Fortunately for everyone who likes the Switch, myself included, every major Wii U game is now playable on the Switch except Wind Waker. Splatoon and Mario Maker got objectively better sequels, Pikmin 3 and others got enhanced ports, but regardless, most of the Wii U's great games have moved to the Switch, and I'm okay with that. However, there was one little game that can never be ported to the Switch, or maybe any console at all, and I don't know if I've ever really talked about it before in a video. That game is Nintendo Land. If you've never played Nintendo Land, there's a good chance that you never will, and I'm very sorry for you if that's the case. Nintendo Land is a relatively simple-looking party game on the surface, but it goes way deeper than that. Nintendo Land is by far the most unique and fun party game I've ever played, and that's all thanks to a little thing I've heard other people refer to as asymmetric multiplayer. Take the simplest and perhaps most iconic game in Nintendo Land as an example, Mario Chase. The player with the gamepad plays as Mario, and their job is to avoid being tackled by the other players who use Wii remotes. Pretty simple, but here's the twist. The person with the gamepad has a full view of the map and all players on their screen, but the Wii remote chasers can only see what's around them on the TV. That may not sound like much, but it changes everything. This disconnect between the gamepad user and the other players makes Nintendo Land feel so fresh and exciting, and every multiplayer minigame here uses that concept in a slightly different way. There's Mario Chase, like I've been talking about, but then there's a Luigi's Mansion game where you have to shine your flashlight on the Boo player who's only visible on the gamepad. There's also an Animal Crossing one where the gamepad person needs to stop the other players from collecting candy, and this catcher controls two little guys with the two joysticks. I'm not gonna explain every game here, and I know I'm not really selling the concept very well. Maybe it's just nostalgia from when I'd play this game all night long with my friends in middle school, shout out to the boys, but I still love Nintendo Land so much, and because of its unique gamepad use, it'll probably never get ported to any other system. It was a one-time deal, and that makes it all the more special in my eyes. Okay, that was an interesting video. Sorry if it seemed a little rambly, short, and pointless, but I really just wanted to take some time to talk about one of my favorite systems ever. Remember to let me know what you thought of the Wii U down in the comments below, like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and have a great day.